Long before history was written, early humans coexisted with creatures so powerful and bizarre that they now seem like myths. Only bones and cave paintings remain of these actual animals, which included Ice Age titans, armored beasts, and huge hunters. We're traveling back in time today to see the extinct creatures that the earliest humans encountered firsthand. The Africa before humans left. If we condensed the entire history of life on Earth into a single 24-hour day, modern humans, Homo sapiens, would have appeared less than 8 seconds ago. In this tiny span, representing about 350,000 years, the Earth has changed both subtly and dramatically. When humans first emerged, they were confined to continental Africa, remaining there for a long period before dispersing around 70,000 years ago in the migration that eventually populated the globe. During this extended stay, our ancestors encountered a variety of African landscapes and animals, many of which no longer exist today. Contrary to the popular image of saber-toothed tigers, stegodonts, or other Ice Age creatures, these iconic species either never lived in Africa or had vanished by the time humans evolved. Elephants bigger than T. Rex. One of the most impressive animals early humans in Africa might have encountered was the Paleoloxodon, an extinct elephant genus notable for its huge size and distinctive bone growths on top of the skull. From a distance, it looked like a modern elephant, but up close, its proportions were vastly different. Some species were the largest land mammals to ever walk the earth. While Paleoloxodon species varied greatly in size, the African species Paleoloxodon galensis, alive about 13,000 years ago, was likely a descendant of the enormous P. rex, which stood 4.2 meters, 13.9, at the shoulder and weighed 15.3 tons heavier than any theropod dinosaur and far larger than today's African elephants. Its tusks were extraordinarily long, sometimes equal in length to an entire elephant's body, straighter than usual, and positioned close to the ground, possibly used for digging or as powerful weapons. Giant buffaloes. Another formidable creature of prehistoric Africa was Cincerus antiquus, commonly known as the giant buffalo. Although much smaller than the colossal Paleoloxodon, it was still a powerful and dangerous animal, holding the title of the largest bovid to have ever lived in Africa. Adults could reach 3 meters, 10 feet in length, stand 1.85 meters, 6.1 feet, tall at the shoulder, and weigh up to 2.2 tons, similar to a modern white rhino, but made of pure muscle rather than thick, armor-like skin. Its most striking feature was its massive horns, which could span up to 3 meters, 10 feet, from tip to tip, longer than those of most horned dinosaurs. Living in large herds, these buffaloes would have significantly shaped their environment, leaving wide trails in their wake. Their size and herding behavior made them easier to track, but far more dangerous to kill, as they were fearless and aggressive, living with 3 other human species. Around 30,000 years ago, Africa was home to 4 human species, coexisting at the same time: Homo sapiens, Homo naledi, Homo heidelbergensis, and Homo rhodesiensis. While they didn't all live in the exact same regions, our ancestors could have encountered each of them separately. Homo naledi, the most primitive of the group, was small, tree-climbing, and had limited technology, possibly making them unable to compete with others. In contrast, Homo heidelbergensis was robust, intelligent, and skilled in hunting large game, using fire, tools, shelters, and even early art. They may have possessed speech-like communication, aiding cooperation in organized hunts. Homo rhodesiensis, found in Zambia, was so similar to heidelbergensis that many consider them the same species, and some theories even suggest they could be our direct ancestors, though this is debated. Giant terrible baboons. Among the most fearsome primates to ever exist was Dinopithecus, meaning terrible ape. Larger than the average man, with some specimens weighing up to 77 kilogram, 170 pounds. It had powerful muscles, a massive skull, and canines 20% bigger than those of modern baboons. Fossils from South Africa and Ethiopia suggest it lived mostly on the ground, increasing the chance of encounters with early humans if their timelines overlapped. Unlike most of its relatives, Deinapithecus ate less grass, preferring fruit and possibly meat, leading some scientists to speculate it might have preyed on smaller early human species. The dinosaur wildebeest, the extinct Rusingriix, nicknamed the dinosaur wildebeest, looked fairly ordinary at first glance, but had long, thick necks and unique trumpet-like nasal passages, much like hadrosaurs, allowing it to produce deep, possibly infrasonic calls. Living in herds across open landscapes, it may have used these calls for long-distance communication. Evidence from Kenya shows butcher marks on fossils found alongside human tools, suggesting early humans hunted them in large groups, possibly driving them to extinction. Horse-sized warthogs. The Metriocoerus was an extinct warthog-like pig and a likely ancestor of modern warthogs. While similar in length to today's largest warthogs, at about 1.5 meters, 5 feet, it was far heavier, some individuals exceeding half a ton, making them as big as a horse, but boar-shaped. With 4 long, sharp, and straight tusks, they could be extremely aggressive. Found across much of Africa, they were grazing animals, making encounters with early humans almost inevitable. Zebras, giraffes, hairy rhinos. In prehistoric Africa, there were unique species of rhinos, zebras, and giraffes that stood out from their modern relatives. A now extinct zebra species once roamed the Sahara, which is today devoid of such animals. There was also a giraffe slightly taller than those we see today, known to have traveled outside Africa, with most fossils found in Turkey. Most fascinating was the steppe rhinoceros, Stephanorinus hematochus, a white rhino-sized creature with a sparse, hairy coat suited for cooler habitats. Around 200,000 years ago, it inhabited northern Africa's forests and woodlands, frequently encountering early humans. Evidence from sites such as Jordan shows these rhinos were hunted using sophisticated stone-tipped spears and wooden javelins capable of piercing vital organs or breaking bones. Neanderthals sometimes kept their skulls as trophies, suggesting respect or symbolic value. Despite being hunted, studies suggest their extinction about 35,000 years ago was likely not caused solely by humans. Compared to other continents, Africa retained much of its megafauna, meaning many of its weirdest creatures are still alive today. Africa has a secret. During the late Pleistocene, Africa did experience some animal extinctions, but many species were already on the path to disappearance regardless of human activity. Compared to other continents, Africa managed to preserve an impressive share of its megafauna. This resilience meant that extinct human species living there did not encounter the same abundance of strange and unfamiliar creatures seen elsewhere in the world.